Hey everybody, it's Buddy Ray. This is Johnny Bright, one of our volunteers here at Joe's Karting. You know, in the past, we've done a tips and tricks videos with our open motors, but now we're on these crate engines, and Johnny, I don't know about you, but I've got a lot of people going, how in the world are you guys getting these low 15s around here? And you got Jordan Krug, he's turned to 14.8 now, the new track record. I'll give credit where credit's due. Jordan Krug was the first one to mention, hey, you gotta drive these things different. They don't drive like the open motors. So props to Jordan for letting us onto that. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick tips and tricks video with the crate engines. We're going to show you the line and maybe what some of the different things that Johnny and I do. First of all, as you look straight down the front straightaway right here, right underneath the Joe's Karting banner, when you come around the hairpin, you're going to want to be in the middle lane right through there. Now, Johnny, what do you think?
That is true. You want to be in the middle lane and you want to come about halfway out. You don't want to try to hug that thing. You lose your momentum and you're going to add time to your lap.
So follow us around. We're going to do one lap around the track. Let's see how well you pay attention. So we're going into the first turn. It's the right-hand sweeper, as we call it, right up here by the front counter. I don't know if you can see it on video here, but there's actually a broken red and a broken yellow line. Try to stay to the inside line. Stay as closest to the wall as possible. Now, in one of our other videos, we had mentioned that there is a draft. A draft, kind of like what they say in NASCAR, is when two carts get right behind each other, and you can actually, drive in the wake of the cart in front of you. All the carts chip out at 3,900 RPM. We cannot change that. We can't modify it. We can't do it. We're at the mercy of the 3,900 RPM chip, employee, non-employee. So the draft is really important. If you get out of the line with the draft, you're going to go backwards. You stay in the draft, you're going to be good. So first thing first, stay in that draft. It's really going to help. Stay to the inside line, stay on this wall. As we're coming down the front straightaway, the one thing I do want to tell everybody, do not come out here. If Johnny's right here in his cart and you drop way out here, well, Johnny's 5 foot over on the wall, you're going to be out of the draft, you're going to go right backwards. You're going to want to stay right here on the wall. As you come back, you're going to notice this part of the track. And I really want to showcase this because, Johnny, I don't know about you, but I see this a lot out here. This is not the smart way of doing this. As I show you, this is a really wide part of the track. I don't know about you, Johnny. I've seen 7, 8 wide right here. Maybe go 4 wide. When you go 4 wide, it's actually going to bottleneck and it's going to have a pinch point right up here. So go ahead and follow me up here. The open motors that we had in the past, you could actually be out here in the middle, or you could actually go to the outside wall and you'd be just fine because, everybody was on the open motor. You could drive different RPMs in different spots, but with that 3,900 RPM chip, you're gonna wanna be on the inside wall. You see this dark area? This is the racing line. This is the groove. This has been set for 5.5 years. What I'm telling everybody is get off the groove a little bit now. And if you look over here, you see the difference where my hand is. This is a lot brighter than this over here. This is 5 years of racing. This dark area should transition over to here with time. This right here has got a lot of tack, a lot of grip. If you stay to the inside wall, I will show you what it does back here. This might possibly be the fastest part of the track, not because we're on the straightaway. When I say the fastest, you can make up a lot of room here. If you notice, Johnny is over here on the inside wall. Well, if I'm over here and everybody's on the 3,900 RPM chip, I'm going pop, 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 pop on the motor. Well, he's on the inside. He's got a shorter radius around the corner. He's not going to be on the rev limiter quite as much. You might be. Back off the chip a little bit, back off the throttle. The crate engines have a little bit more compression and horsepower, and you can actually power through the corner a little bit better.
About right in this area, about right through here, you just want to let off your throttle a little bit right through here. And you don't even really have to hit your brakes. You just kind of feather that throttle going through. And then when you get about around the sweeper over here is when you want to lay back into it, and it'll just kind of slingshot you off of it and it'll give you maximum momentum.
When I designed the track 5 years ago, everybody knows this is the treacherous right-hand sweeper. Now we have the hairpin up there. The one thing I want to tell you is that when we designed the track, Johnny, I think you weigh, what, 210, 220? With that being said, this corner right here is going to favor Johnny. If you're 100, 150 pounds, this right-hand sweeper is not gonna favor you because a lot of times people have a tendency to drive too hard, too deep into the corner. And when you come too hard, too deep into the corner, people will actually wash to the outside wall. The cart will just go out. So when you're heavier and you have that lower center of gravity, you're gonna plant right here. If you look at these 8-inch tall puckboard sides, you can see where I have rubbed a lot. Once again, we're staying as close to this wall as possible. Sometimes you will have to just very gently tap the brake, stay in the throttle, but just tap the brake. You're not slamming the brake, you're just eggshell driving on the brake. You're keeping all that momentum stored up in the chassis so that when we come off the corner right here, you're gonna be really good. Number one thing we see at Joe's, number one driving mistake, and I don't know about you, Johnny, but I see a lot of this. Somebody's gonna come off this corner right here, they release the brakes, or they were never even on the brakes to begin with, and the next thing you know, they are coming way out here and they meet this wall. Don't do that, slow down. Slower is faster on the right-hand sweeper. Stay to the inside line. You're gonna come off the inside line. This is a big, big trouble area for a lot of people on the track. Once again, you're staying to the, what's going to turn to the outside line, because that then will be the inside. It's going to transition to the outside wall. You want to be right over here. Notice how this is nice and clean. Then you get out here, and this is a lot darker, browner, blacker looking. This is the old racing line. With the open motors, we could, be on this. Also, if you're to run your feet across this is a lot slicker. You come over here, you can actually, from where I'm standing, I can see the crystal silicate in the concrete here. This is a lot tackier. Now, if you come down here, to me, this part of the track, for me, is probably the fastest. Faster than the right-hand sweeper, and it's faster than anything you're ever gonna do on the straightaway. I don't know how you feel. You're gonna stay to the outside wall. Here's what I see a lot. Johnny's in a go-kart. I'm out here in my go-kart. When you're on a go-kart and you try to make that 90-degree turn right there, I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to protect your line, you're trying to be fast. But the momentum of the kart, physics is against you, and it's gonna shoot you way out. So when I'm over here by the wall, now what I'm doing is I'm actually turning down. Notice where Johnny's at with his go-kart, but now you can see what I'm doing, and I actually have the run on the now inside line. So with that being said, Johnny at times may or may not be on the rev limiter right here. Once again, we can only go 3,900 RPM. I'm not on the rev limiter. I'm actually flattening the track out, and I'm using that compression and horsepower to my advantage. But it's also a much more controlled power, a lot easier to drive. So now you want to be on the inside, right through here. If you do this just right, now Johnny's on the outside, look how far out Johnny's gonna go in his go-kart. The problem is, stay right there real quick. The problem is, that's the slower part of the track. You, once again, on this broken yellow line, you want the front of the cart right here. As we come down the short chute, this corner right here is so treacherous. I don't know if you can see it, but you can actually see a lot of the skid marks right there. Imagine he's on a 5-foot long, 4-foot wide cart. As he's going around the corner, what he's doing is he's actually going down, he's sliding the cart out, but when he slides the cart out, he's almost momentarily stopping right there. Once again, Johnny's going around, he slides the cart, he goes like this, he momentarily stops. If you momentarily stop and you've got 8 or 9 people right behind you that are fast, it's not gonna bode well for you. I don't know if you guys can see it on video, but if you watch the floor, you can actually see some of the skid marks going back towards the wall and then coming out. And so as I'm going down on a go-kart, I'm actually going towards the outside wall just like this. At this point, I'm lifting off the throttle just a skosh. I'm not completely off the throttle, I'm just barely lifting off the throttle. And at times, depending on traffic, if the track is warm, if the track is cold, if I might use a touch brake, but for the most part, I'm just barely lifting off the throttle. So at this point, I'm lifting off the throttle, I'm slowing down, and now the cart, if you notice, I'm not really next to the wall, because on this corner, you want your momentum in the cart to stay up. As long as you keep the momentum in the cart up without squealing tires, you're gonna be bad fast. But now you gotta remember, Johnny made a beeline for the hairpin, the momentum shot him out. I have all this room right here that I can get to the inside of Johnny. As I come in off the wall, I'm flattening the track out. I come down on the bottom, I come through, the momentum's gonna shoot me out, and we're right back in the middle of the lane, right where Johnny said, stay in the middle of the lane, and then you go right back around the track. So stay on the inside lane, use your brake a little bit. Don't drag your brake, don't ride your brake. Make sure you give each other room. That's probably another big one. Give each other room. So when you get out there, use the draft, stay in the draft. But if you see somebody pushing up in a corner, there's no need to follow them, just go underneath of them. If they like to go to the bottom, then go to the outside if you can get around them.
Just hug the inside till you get to the outside of the sweeper, then switch over to the outside. And you know, you gotta let off your throttle. You can't run it wide open around them corners or you're just gonna put yourself into the wall.
One thing I do want to touch on real quick, and I know you might have seen this a lot too. White flags, checkered flags. White flag, 1 lap left. You race around the track, you'll see the checkered flag. When you see the checkered flag, do not come into the pits. We want you to go around the track one more time. If you are on the checkered flag and you come into the pitch and you're in first place, we're right where this checkered board is. This is the scoring loop. We're right underneath the scoring loop. So if you get the checkered flag and you come into the pits and there's 10 to a race and you're in first place, you just went from first to 10th in about 5 feet. White flag, 1 lap left. Next lap, you'll see the checkered. Once you take the checkered, go 1 lap around, then come into the pits. There you go, folks. Come on into Joe's and let's see if you can apply what we've tried to tell you. One other thing, you know, we've gone through the track with the tips and tricks. One other thing I do want to reiterate with these crate engines, and a lot of people have had concerns, a lot of people love it. If you notice back here where my arm is, there's no more muffler. Guess what? These seats stay a lot cooler, they're a lot more comfortable, and you can stay in the carts a lot longer now. With the muffler being gone though, we have this newer style square muffler. We've had some concerns with people getting a little too close to this. You see this yellow sheath right here, or blanket as I call it. This is actually welding blanket, and this actually reduces the temperatures of the engines quite a bit. So, you know, we were looking out for your safety. We've always been paramount in that area. With that being said, these things are so cool. I can actually sit here for 10 minutes with the motor running, and I will not burn my hands or my arms or fingers or anything like that. So when you come in and you see these ain't here as a prop. These are here for your safety, and these are one of the things that I wanted to show you after doing the tips and tricks.